Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank Sunrise Podcast Network for inviting me here today. And we're in the Snacky Hack studio, and with us today, we got the Jeff Madsen here. This guy, he's a phenomenal player here. I'm going to give you a few stats before we get into all these conversations.
Hey, Clyde.
How you been, buddy?
Hey, good to see you. You look great. I love the hat.
Well, yeah, I
looks sick.
I love my Stetson's hats. But we got back in 2006, you started getting noticed because 3 weeks in a row, you ran really good at the WSOP. July the 3rd, you played in the 2000 Omaha High-Low. You finished third for 97,000 and change. Then a week later, you're in the 5,000 shorthanded no limit. You get first place for 643,000 and change. And a week after that, you get first in the 2,000 no limit hold'em for another 660,000. Wow, what a year that was!
Yeah, that was my first month even being legal for the World Series of Poker. I just turned 21 in June, early June. And I'd been talking about it with my friends for the last 3 years. I'm going to go World Series, win a bracelet, be the youngest bracelet winner. And I did it, yeah. I, borrowed a little bit of money, and that third place was just, I got like 90,000. That was the most money I'd ever seen in my life by far. And then the rest was kind of history after that. But yeah, it was a storybook run. It's hard to even grasp like how I did it, my first month. But
it's a great way to start to get a bankroll, too, if you plan on playing for a living. Did that make you want to play for a living after that?
I mean, I already did, but it was more of like a pipe dream, because when your bankroll is like 5 or 10,000, it's kind of hard to, I'd seen Chris Moneymaker win that year, like 2 years before, right? And I just started reading every poker book I could and just, prepared, and, everything kind of aligned that year. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, like you said, like I was playing mixed games too, and I was just grinding at my local casino in Santa Barbara. When I wasn't in class in college at Santa Barbara, I was just playing a Chumash, and in 3 years I felt like I was good enough to do it, so I just took a shot at it. Fuck it, why not?
Way to go! Way to go!
Yeah,
chase your dreams. That's what they say.
Chase your dreams. Yeah. I mean, I was going to school for film, so I wanted to make movies and stuff, but. I was always a big gamer, and I was like, well, I could just have a job where you kind of choose your own hours and, can play a strategy game for a living, and I just thought it was really fun, so.
That's the great thing about being a poker player. You actually can make your own schedule.
Yeah, that was the one of the most, appealing things for me, just because of not really wanting to have a 9 to 5, and I'm more of a night person, too, so that helps, yeah.
I'm an old man. I like my rest at night. That's why I normally don't get in the later time.
I mean, I like my rest. My schedule is just adjusted pretty late. Like even today, I usually go to bed at like 4 or 5 lately at the earliest a.m. So it's how it is, when you're playing cash or you're playing a lot and you got stuff to do. End up going to sleep late. So
I want to let the fans out there know that are watching the broadcast. It wasn't just 2006 for this guy. I've done a little bit of homework on this guy. In 2013, the PLO 3000, he got first place, bracelet, right? Yep. 384,000 and change. Mm-hmm. How many bracelets do you have, Jeff?
Just 4 bracelets.
4? That's still pretty
good.
Yeah.
It's been like 9-10 years, though, so I think, you always want that next one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, but the first one is definitely like the biggest hurdle or the biggest one to like, once you win the first one, you're kind of like, oh, it's possible, but you just always want more, I get why Helmuth is how he is, he's just like, another 17, but you also want to have fun. You don't want to overthink about the stats either, but that was always like the coolest poker trophy was the bracelet, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm still hoping to win one myself.
You what?
I'm still hoping to win one myself.
I think you will. I think I can tell the good energy's coming, you know what I mean? Probably in like Omaha High-Low or something, right? Yeah. How many events do you usually play?
Speaking of that, the World Series schedule is out, and I took a brief look at it, and they have the 1,500 early in the series, and then like 4 or 5 days after, they got to 10,000, and I'm talking about the limit High-Low.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm going to get in both of them, baby.
Yeah, Snack Attack's going to be in there?
Yeah.
Is that did you play those in past years, or is this the
I've
first
never
10Ks?
played the 10K yet,
Nice.
but I believe I'm definitely good enough to play in it. And
of course.
every time I run into you all the time. I mean, you play the Omaha High Low in the mixed events all the time.
Yeah.
We're
I
high
see
five.
deep in all
Remember?
those random,
Do you remember
win
what was it?
events
Was that after when we were high fiving each other?
Probably,
What did
yeah.
you end up getting there? Third?
Something like that.
I got fourth. I know we were both
They keep
deep.
screwing me at the final table. Yeah.
Uh,
No, I'm deep. Yeah, I'm deep
I
with
know.
you. In all those mixed events, and the 10Ks are just so fun. I don't know. The fields aren't massive, but I just love playing. Something about mixed games. It's just all year round. You play so much no limit hold'em, so it's just a nice couple months of mixed games of the World Series. So I'll probably play I usually play like 11 or 12 of those, or most of them, pretty much. the 10Ks.
I'm full time in REI. I can't take off to play a whole lot.
Yeah.
So I try to play the ones I really think I got a shot, or the ones I really want. Years ago, I kept thinking, I want to play the main event. I want to play the main event, right?
Yeah.
I finally played the main event. And not only did I play in the main event for the first time, I cashed in it. And you know what that does? Now I got to play it again.
Now you
I gotta
have
play it
every
again.
year. Yeah.
But I haven't been able to play it every year. But,
Yeah. It just
but
takes
what a
one deep
thrill.
run in that to, and you're a great character for that. How the main event loves just like good stories, and and you're just kind of on the come up lately with your recent Netflix appearance too. I saw that. So yeah, I think you're due for a good deep run in the World Series, just one way or the other, the main event or just winning a mixed game or something. Yeah.
I tell you what, I know they filmed it. In 2017, in my first main event, I had to make a big call. I got big raised, a 1,500. The blinds back then was 75, 150. I had pocket nines. I flopped 3 nines. The guy went all in, and it took me for a while. I thought he might have had ace king of diamonds because 2 diamonds were on the flop. Anyhow, I won the hand, and I know they were watching because I jumped up. Remember, first time in the main event, it was a half hour in. I go running around the table.
Oh,
and
perfect.
I know they're filming, and then they come by and ask me what my name was because they didn't know who the hell I was.
Yeah.
But what a thrill. What a thrill that is. If you ever get a chance and you have something on your bucket list that you want to do and you love poker, Jeff, wouldn't you say it's the main event?
It's the main event, yeah. I mean, if you're not very good, you have a chance of cashing, right? But it's definitely like an endurance test, so you got to take like 7 to 10 days off work and stuff. But if you can do that, and you love poker, you should definitely hop in.
Yeah, it definitely is.
But yeah, Phil Hellmuth has just kind of made news recently for saying that he's not going to play in the main event this year just because it's such like a endurance fest, and it's just so long. And for older players, it's kind of tough to just play 12-hour days, like 7 to 10 days in a row. But at the same time, that's how tournaments should be, I think. But he's not 100% wrong. I think that Doug Polk or someone was talking about maybe just make the levels 90 minutes instead of 2 hours and add 1 level a day for the main event, and then just have it go a little bit faster. But either way, it's going to be a grind. Yeah.
All of a sudden, this is what kills me. Why break up something that's good, in my opinion, anyway? No one's complained about, hey, I believe it's been a few years back, but there was a man 72 years old made the final table. So I think it's baloney. You prepare yourself for anything.
It's baloney, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Like, it is kind of crazy that the entire World Series of poker, like 25 years ago, was like 2 weeks total. Now the main event is like 2 weeks, of scheduling, days. So it is a little crazy, but that's just how it is, though. And I think you're going to win $10 million. Like, it should take a while. It should be difficult. So I don't think they should necessarily change anything. Maybe making the level a little shorter, but why fix anything if not too many people? If just him's complaining, it might not be enough to really do anything. But
when you have the 2-hour levels that they have, you've got time to play, and you don't really have to play like a crazy nut. And it's made for it to be the way it is because the whole world's engulfed in this. And like you said, back when Moneymaker won this thing, there wasn't that many players, so there was never a problem about, it's going to be too long.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, it is what it is. If you don't want to do it, don't play it. But I'm telling you right now, Jeff, there is no way, you're listening to me out there, that Phil Hellmuth is going to miss the main event. I don't give a crap. No way.
So what do you think the line is? Do you think it's actually, well, it's more like 50-50?
I
I mean,
think
I don't know if he's saying it just because of like, like the idea was like, and then he said he's not going to make his big entrance this year. So it's like, is he mad at the World Series for some reason? Like, why this year of all years? You know, he's played every year for 30 something years. It's like, so I'm not sure, but I'm excited for it though. I didn't even look at the schedule yet.
are you going to play the main event?
Oh yeah. Oh
See,
yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to play the main event yet. I don't
Mhm.
know. But I do know I definitely want to play the 10,000 high low. That
Yeah.
I believe I can win that thing. And
Mhm.
I tell everyone I've got a number system, and this damn number system makes me run deep every time I play in a tournament with that.
Uh-huh. It's a
And
secret?
oh
Maybe
yeah,
don't tell us.
well
What
this
kind of
I
number
do.
system?
Okay,
What?
listen, got my buddy Jeff
It's like
here.
an algorithm?
I'm going to let this out right now.
Okay.
When I get up,
You sure?
yes, the 25,000 subscribers on my YouTube page, I will do a broadcast to show you my secret. And if you got to be dedicated to what I'm talking. It's a number system. You got to be dedicated to it. And believe me, I'm not bull crapping. I run super deep every time I'm in a tournament with high low. That's how
I'm
good I am.
intrigued here. So is this like a hand system, like a hand ranges
It's a
thing, but you use
got it.
numbers with
Yep.
okay.
You got it. Something
All right.
like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think all of us in mixed games we have a little bit of our own methods.
Well, there's.
Go
ahead.
I wouldn't call mine a number system, but definitely it's a little bit like that because you're really looking at the nature of your low draw and stuff there, and yeah. You're just gonna play high low, or what's your second best mixed game? Or you really it's just high low for you? What?
I can play
play
all
stud?
games.
Yeah.
I love all the games, to be honest with you. And it kind of helps, Jeff, that I deal the games too. I think because I'm around the games all the time, I think I have an advantage. Just like, I'm over. I see in Poker Go too sometimes, but because I deal to you guys, while I'm watching, I'm learning. So a lot of that comes into play. Plus, I'm sure even though you're very good, you still study. Okay,
Yeah.
so I study hard.
No,
But
just being
I tell
around
you
it,
what.
and I mean, I'm a private coach, so when I'm dealing hands to my students and just talking to them about the fundamentals, that really helps me. It doesn't matter if it's in theory a fundamental. Like, you need to remind yourself of like your strategies and what you're doing, and just kind of it's good to kind of teach people that are beginners, or they say they don't have a grasp on something unless you can teach it, right? So the better you can actually give that information to someone else, that means you understand it more. So it's helped me a lot just being a coach. Yeah.
Speak about that coaching, by the way. Let them know.
Yeah.
Get you some more students.
Yeah. I mean, I've done this for about 12, 13 years. I've had hundreds of students, but if you want to find me, just Jeff Madsen coaching at gmail.com. And yeah, or any of my socials, Instagram is on there, Jeff Madsen Poker. Just send me a direct message, but mostly I do just one-on-one coaching, but I've done, groups of 100 or 200 just at different events or whatever. So, all across the board, I teach no limit, PLO, mixed games, pretty much anything. Yeah.
Well, that sounds fantastic.
Tournaments, cash games. I definitely lean tournaments. I'm definitely more of a tournament player, but definitely can teach cash and all that. So, yeah, for all your coaching needs.
I tell you, another thing I think I've learned about you is you play online too. Is that correct?
Online too, yeah. WorldSeries.com mostly, and but I'm not playing as much as like some of my buddies. Like Holtzy or like I'm more of a live guy, I think. And I know already the World Series of Poker is 3 months away, so it's just there's a lot of value in playing like even a $400 horse tournament at the Wynn for me, just because it's a live mixed event. How many are there throughout the year? Not a crazy amount if you're not traveling. You just play at the Wynn sometimes or some other series around Vegas. So yeah, I'm just trying to get warmed up and ready for all those bigger 10Ks of the World Series. Yep.
I will tell you this, what I've noticed here in the last several years now, is that not just where I work, but the Wynn, Venetian, they all run tournaments all year round. Some of them are mixed games, some of them are no limit hold'em. So you can actually live in Vegas with your family and still be able to play because you don't have to air travel. Isn't that, am I telling speaking the truth right here?
Oh yeah, yeah. I love Vegas. I mean, it's one of the best places to live for poker. Probably the best place. One of the best places in the world. There's just always a tournament. You know, you don't have to like wait for a series. You just know there's going to be something. With mixed games, you know, you still have to kind of find the stuff, but there's plenty. You know, you play at the Orleans if you want to, right? I mean, there's just always something.
Exactly, that's what I heard.
Yeah, and then you got Aria, Poker Go Mixed Series. I want to play that. So you know, there's bigger stuff, there's small stuff around town. I just love Vegas. You know what I mean? It's awesome.
I'll be dealing to you if you're going to that Poker Go.
I'll be there. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I'll be there.
3 days, right, or 4 days?
Yeah, it's this coming week, I believe.
Yeah.
But
5K horse is the first one, right? Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah.
Deal me some good hands.
Yeah,
I haven't won
go.
a Poker Go title yet, but I don't play a lot of them. But
you play the mixed ones though. I've seen you in the mixed ones.
Yeah, I played some this last series too. No limit, just depends.
Yeah.
I start to play more, but yeah, whatever I can play in town, I try to find and play.
That's the great thing about this. No, not just that some of the poker rooms we're talking about that are higher stakes for good players, but you know, there's the smaller casinos that have the $60 buy-ins.
Yeah.
So if you want to learn, you got a chance to learn a little bit.
The thing about Vegas is like, you know, you bust the tournament, but you're still at a fun casino. You know, you're still in a fun place, so it's not like as depressing, or there's just stuff to do. You know what I mean? There's some places you play where there's nothing besides the casino, you know, and you're in the middle of nowhere or whatever. Vegas, there's always something to do, or, you know, good restaurants, go to a show or something. So it kind of just makes the experience more fun. You know, you can just hop into a tournament. I kind of just decide on the fly. I don't really always schedule my tournaments like weeks in advance. I kind of just wake up sometimes and look at the schedule and just decide, you know.
Well, see, you're a pro. You could do that. Me, I have to schedule because, you know, I ain't saying I'm a bottom feeder because I know I'm a very good player. I just don't have the money to play in all the tournaments. But that's why I have to schedule mine. And I usually try to schedule. If I play in a tournament, let me see if you do the same thing. You ready what I'm about to ask you?
Okay.
I play in a tournament. I'm running it well. Let's say I finish third or better, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And I feel at certain spots during the tournament, I hit a big card to keep me going good.
Yeah.
Do you now want to start playing every day while you're running hot? Is that what you like to do?
Yeah. Well, but it's sort of just like, it's sort of a mental like illusion in a way, but when you're running hot, you are kind of in a better mood or an energy, so you naturally want to play. And when you're in that state, it kind of makes you play better too, right? Because it's not like you're never actually running hot or not. Well, like it's just something you could argue looking at a sample size, but it's just still like, what is running hot? You know, in the grand scheme of things, is it, you know, running good over a year, over 5 years, over a month, right? You could argue, you know, maybe you run really hot for a week, but then the next 3 weeks of that month you run terrible. So were you actually running bad that month, or were you know? So you know what I mean. So you kind of just don't want to take sometimes you get positive tilt when you just maybe you play a couple hands you shouldn't have. You win a huge pot, and you're like, I'm just gonna play every day now, and you know. But you absolutely should. If you're feeling good and you're playing well, you should always keep playing, right? Like if you're in a cash game, you shouldn't quit a cash game. If you're up or down, you should just only quit if you're tired or if it's not a good game anymore, right? So, you know, you just want to manage your expectations, I guess. And, you know, again, if it's good to think, I'm running hot or whatever, but it's still like that always ends, right? The same thing as a losing, like even a downswing, it's always going to end. You know, it doesn't mean you're going to necessarily know when you're going to start running good or bad, but you just want to make good decisions is the point. It's not really about, I'm running good, so play when you're running good. It's kind of doesn't really mean anything in the long run, right? If you just make good decisions, then, you know, put yourself in a good chance to win, I guess. So, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you know what happened to me last year. I was getting all prepared. I had money saved to play the WSOP, and ended up having a health issue. But before that happened, I was running really well. I mean, everything I got in, I was like deep, or I cash. I mean, I was maybe not winning, but deep cashing. So I'm thinking, okay, this is my year, Jeff. You know, I'm thinking, okay, my year. Then I have the heart attack, and all of a sudden I don't even get to play one event last year. So I'm super excited about playing this year.
That's just God. It's like a test, you know, or just a, you know, everything's going a certain way, and you just got to stay vigilant, you know, and be grateful, because there's going to be other challenges in life. Sometimes it's a huge one like that, and sometimes it's smaller stuff. But I'm glad you're doing good right now. How are you feeling? What's going on?
Well, I want to tell you, I never asked you this, but I believe in God, and there's a reason why God kept me alive. I mean, in my opinion, I don't know what or why yet, but I'm sure I'll find out later. But as far as my health is, it's the slowest process I ever seen in my lifetime. Honest to God, I'm serious. It's unbelievable. Someday I'll wake up and I'll just feel so crappy. You know, and I got FMLA. And when I'm feeling crappy, I'm usually short-winded, and I got no energy, and I don't know why. Yeah. But I'm glad I have FMLA, because there's no way I could go to work.
With your,
It's just like I can't breathe, and I don't get it. I don't know why. Yeah. But
you don't know when it's just,
don't even know when it's going to happen. Then the next day, Jeff, the next day I wake up and I feel like I got all the energy in the world. It's crazy as hell. Yeah. And you know, if you know me well, like now this is
almost like a bipolar body thing.
Like, I'm usually like, whoa. But now I got to calm down, or I'll start all of a sudden. Right. All right, go ahead. Over to you, Jeff. Stuff like that. I mean, that's what happens to me.
But you know,
how's your health, by the way?
You seem good right now.
I'm getting there. Like I said, it's very slow, but I'm getting there.
My health is good. I mean, you just got to be grateful for that. And I try to, you know, stay pretty healthy or whatever. But, you know, for poker players, like, mental health can be the biggest thing. And just like we were talking about, just small things, just tilts, not dealing with tilts, bankroll management, you know, just not playing when you don't feel like playing. But yeah, right now, you know, my health is good. Grateful. So,
Jeff, you were speaking about bankroll management. Well, I'm going to tell you something. That's something I'm very good at. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm never, ever going to be felted. Yeah. I won't let it happen. If I get playing and we're talking about running good, running bad, whatever. But if I get playing and I'm not running well, I'm not feeling it. Now, I don't know if you do, but even though we know the numbers, I play with feel a lot. Okay? If I think, okay, I think he's got this, I feel this, I'm going to call it. If he raises and I put him on ace king and I got a pair of fives and the flop doesn't go with his range that I put him on, then I'll go with it. Do you play anything like with feel? Do you use feel at all?
Yeah, I was always kind of more the feel sort of player, but I just combine, you know, the GTO and the more logical, like the math aspects with the feel. And sometimes, like you said, you just have a feeling about, I have this hand, and you feel like if he does this, I'm going to, you know, do this just because of I'm feeling he's weak this hand or whatever. But the feelings usually do come from intuition that's related to math in a way, because like sometimes you've seen this flop so many times, or you've been in this situation similar so many times before that you kind of, it's like a feel thing, but you're also like mathematically grouping it with other hands you played that feel like that, you know, that you played before, and you're like, oh, I think pocket fives are good here, because, you know, a lot of times on this board, and, you know, you piece it together, right? Sometimes you don't even know what information you're getting. You have, you know, an intuition. So I do try to trust that, you know, and not be 100% just the numbers. You're like, oh, this is what I have to do here. It's more like, okay, this is a good idea of a play to make here, but maybe I'm only doing it 75% of the time, and I have to decide when is the 25% of the time I'm going to like veer off course and do a more exploit type of play, basically. So, you know, it's basically the more you're a field player and you're doing different stuff like that, you become more you're exploiting, right? It just leaves you open to be exploited. So you kind of have to. It's a balance to not be exploited while trying to pick off other people's mistakes, basically. So
when I'm in a hand, and most of the time, because I'm older now, they think I'm a rock player, and they can always push me out of the hand. So I try to use that to my advantage. Do they try to do anything tricky on you?
Yeah, I think you have a certain image. I probably have a certain image where the main tendency with me is they probably like will call me down or not fold to me. You know, like yeah, they might think, oh, I'm a pro and they're intimidated. But I think it's more that like I just seem like an internet guy, or like I'm gonna be firing a little bit just because I'm like, I don't know, I just look like an internet guy a little bit. I'll have the hoodie on, I just got the maybe. So I think they're gonna probably want to battle with me a little bit more, or if they're a type player, they might fold early in the hand because they know I'm just gonna be firing a lot of shells or something. So I think they're gonna play very different against me or you. And I think the cowboy hat. Now I think these days actually that the cowboy look, they might think you're more of a type player these days, whereas back in the day that was more like the gunslinger, like aggressive sort of look. But I think that how that's perceived has changed now. Now it's like the kid with the hoodie that they think is going to be firing. You know what I mean? Whereas like a good old boy, from Texas is gonna be, sitting in on his money and just shooting the shit. And I don't know. It's everyone tells differently though, and like the image part of it. So it's not always super straightforward.
We were talking earlier, but we get so much and so many good conversations, which I'm loving this. I'll tell you that right now. We got all these different conversations. My mind's going zip, zip, zip. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to ask you, go back to what you're talking about when you teach people.
Yeah.
Who's your best student, and is he a winning player?
My best student. Well, I've done, sessions with my friends too that are just good players, like Mike Holtz. Like I love that dude. We've even done.
He's been on my show.
Some, PLO training and stuff when I first met him. So I'll even just do sessions with really good players just to you just want to both, how are we talking about the hand, and we're both going to get something from each other. But a lot of my students have been more just beginners that, have gotten a lot better. So it's not like anyone that's like on the high roller circuit now, it's like a lot of people that are beginning and medium level. And even within the first few hours, they're getting a lot better because I'm just telling them a few like big things to switch. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm not supposed to, play ace deuce offsuit under the gun, and you open up, and then that's the thing is like the improvement in the very beginning is like crazy just because of how much usually beginners are doing wrong, and it's basic stuff. Like don't like limp into the pot usually if you're first in the pot, right? Don't play ace deuce offsuit under the gun or something, c-bet. You don't have to c-bet twice the pot, stuff like that. So just everyone's different, but I've had a lot of students do well. Just some of them are just my close friends. Yeah.
But as I'm sitting there speaking with you, you're smiling like you love poker. That's how I am, and that's why I'm over here smiling my ass off because I can see your passion, and that's the same damn passion I have.
Yeah, you have the passion for it.
I can play poker every damn day. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mostly could. Some days I've been playing for so long. Yeah, you want to take a little break, but you just got to be grateful. It's one of the best things to do as a job. That's obviously not always consistent, and there's a little bit of mystery where how much am I going to make this year? That's the fun part about it. It's not guaranteed. You don't have a yearly salary that you're definitely going to make. You just have to do it yourself.
Yeah. I moved out here to Las Vegas. My nephew talked me to move out here. I tried to bring my son with me, but he didn't come. So I said, son, I'm going to go global. You could take over the local. Just kidding around, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm trying to teach him the math part, but he doesn't want to listen to me. He only plays he plays completely by feel, okay? And I said, son, if you want to go to the next level, you got to add that to your game. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I just think even when I say I'm a feel player, or when you hear people say go by feel, sure, it's like a good trait to have to be able to have feel, but we want to make sure we're not copping out. Like you really want to study the math and the solvers and the GTO because like it's still like kind of solved math. Obviously the computer is kind of basing its everything on this equilibrium like strategy. So it's not like everyone plays like the computer, but you should learn all the math ideally, and then you can still have your own strategy and play by feel by trying to get tells and figure out when to mix your strategy. But you just don't want to, you don't want to just be like, I'm a good field player and then never study the math. I feel like that's sort of a cop out, right? You want to make sure you're always at least studying. It doesn't mean change your style, but a solver is a solver. It's like, it's real, it's a real strategy that technically can't be beaten. It doesn't mean it makes the most money, right? But if you played like the computer, you wouldn't really lose chips, if that makes sense, over time.
Okay.
Right. But no one plays like the computer, right? No one's playing like the robot, like the strategy. So it's just a weird thing these days because everyone knows about the solvers and like the study, but you can't take it so seriously that you have to play like the computer. You just want to understand the math that's like inherent in every poker hand, I guess, right? But I really am more of a field player, just if we had to break it down, just because when I'm playing live, I'm going to get so many little reads, and I'm just going to, even when I do something that seems like a mistake myself, like a crazy play, I'm going to use that, later to my advantage, right? Just because they saw that play, I'm just going to use that as an exploit and balance it later and, try to do the opposite type thing. So I do try to keep the old school kind of methods while, you got to keep studying at the same time, though.
Like I've said, a lot of my broadcasts, I probably repeat myself over and over again. But you know what? If you repeat everything over that you're learning, you're going to get so much better at it that it's going to become natural to where you almost got to think about it. And that's one of the things that I've been taking more to my game, is that once I've got it locked in, it comes natural. Do you have things that come natural when you're sitting there playing?
Yeah, I think that's a lot of the stuff we're talking about with intuition. Some of that is just, you're just prepared for the situation. So, your intuition might serve you, but it's not like it was luck. You were prepared for that situation, right? Like you had just played a lot of hands from the button and you had like run that scenario a lot. And then all of a sudden you're in a hand on the button and it's like an interesting spot. You get re-raised and you have to know what to do. So it might seem like intuition, but if you're prepared, it's just it's actually that you were just kind of were prepared for that and you executed. So, yeah.
All right. Well, you're the perfect guy to have on the show because what you don't know is I get a lot of feedback. Okay, now listen to this. They're always asking me questions, and I got you here who teach people how to play.
Yeah, you can ask me anything quick.
I can ask you anything.
AMA.
That's so you can see. I feel like I'm a kid in a candy store right now.
Yeah.
What's the first thing that you teach your students? What is the very first thing you teach them?
The very first thing?
Yeah.
The very first thing is probably just the opening session about what we were talking about with the bankroll management and dealing with the tilt and, make sure you're studying what sources to study and how we're going to study, and how we're going to go over hand histories and stuff. And then, the first few things are just going to be, often we're doing no limit hold'em, so it's going to just be like pre-flop, your first decisions and the math of just like pre-flop starting hand decisions, and start naturally at the beginning of the hand. And then, as our training progresses, maybe by the third or fourth session, now we're at the flop turn river, right? So they can just order the hand in their mind. We're not jumping all over the place. We're just focused on pre-flop, first to act, now pre-flop, facing an open, right? Now pre-flop, now we're facing a re-raised, right? And you just be really systematic, break down all that stuff. But then obviously at the same time, I'm mixing in the intuition stuff and talking about just logical ideas about poker. It doesn't have to be so mathematical. You just could logically say ace king should shove here, and you can explain logically why. You don't have to show a percentage. You're just like, you have fold equity. He might call you with a worse hand. You might get him to fold pocket fives. So you could break it down logically. And usually I'm just trying to learn about the student and then see what their learning style is and how they want to, what topics they want to approach first. So that's all in the first session. Just kind of getting, figuring it out. But.
Guys, I hope you're out there listening. I have the perfect person over here. All the questions I receive, he's telling you how to handle it. And by the way, Evidently, it's free here. He usually has students. Now, I want to tell you something else, Jeff, that happens when I catch on, and then I work on that player, and I'm going to see if you do the same thing. A lot of players that are still learning the game, they're getting better. You got to admit, players today are better than years past. Yeah. But one thing they're having trouble doing, most of them, is after the flop play. Because when they got, this is serious, I'm serious, if they got like kings, queens, or aces, they let you know because they're not thinking. They'll over raise the pot because they're afraid they're going to get cracked. And now a player like myself and you, and I do know this, you're telling me what you have. So now when I'm looking at my hand, okay, and I look down and I'm like, okay, I've got 8, 9 of spades. I know I'm behind on this guy, but if I flop the right flop, I'll get every one of his damn chips.
Right.
Now, I mean, this is a fact. Do you run into this when you play too?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like like a tight player, say someone who's too tight, in their mind, they're like, oh, I'll just play really good hands and then I'll get paid because I have good hands. But the issue is now everyone knows their ranges. So like you never like, yeah, okay, you have pocket aces, but if everyone knows you have pocket aces, like they can play their 8-9 suitedly, 8-9 suited perfectly against you, and just know that if they hit, they're gonna play a big pot with you because you have aces. So the point is you never want to telegraph your hands you want to avoid giving information. It's clearly what you want to do in poker. So pre-flop, that's why you come in for a raise. It should always be 2.5x, right? As an example, right? You wouldn't make it 4x with aces and then min raise with 10-9 suited. So first of all, they do that pre-flop, but some of them know to not do that, like mix it up pre-flop. But on the flop, like you said, they'll have kings and then they'll just bet 80% pot, but then when they have their bluffs, they'll just bet like 30% pot, or when they have second pair. Yep. So you see a lot of telegraphing, right? And that's where the intuition comes in, is like but that's just literal information too. You see their patterns. Oh, he always bets 50% pot. Now he bets 90% pot. What's going on here? So you want to avoid that. You want to decide on a couple bet sizing strategies. And then each of those strategies has bluffs and good hands in them, right? You don't, right? So you bet half pot. You're gonna have bluffs and value. You bet 100% pot. You'll have bluffs and value, right? And the range will be balanced, right? Because, if you bet 5x pot, right? People need to learn this kind of stuff. But say you bet 5x pot, okay, now you're so polarized because you bet so big that, you still can have bluffs and value, but it's so polarized that you should only have like the nuts and then maybe like a few bluffs, right? So you got to balance your ranges, and people don't always understand that, how that adds up and how that's important, because telegraphing your hand is one of the worst things you can do.
And that's why, once again, boy, man, I can't get over how great this is going right now. Honest to God, you don't know, man. Everybody's asking me like I'm the pro, so I get you guys. I get you guys here, and okay, I'll be out.
I've done podcasts before.
Boy, you're killing it, buddy. You're killing it.
I mean, I never was like, when I first got into poker, I wasn't like super into the interview stuff. Yeah. But then I just got used to doing it. It was fun to just talk about ideas.
Ain't it? It really is.
So I've done a lot of them, but not as many lately. But for sure, I'll do your show, of course. I've done a couple in the studio.
I appreciate it too, and this just thrills the hell out of me.
Yeah, I mean, you're
sometimes
you're not just a
I get
poker
so
player.
emotional. I almost gotta give myself a second. I can't help it, buddy.
Yeah.
Honest to God, I love you guys coming on my.
I love you too.
I'm just a little guy from Ohio, man.
Yeah, I'm happy for you.
And I love poker, and all of a sudden I'm doing all this.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn.
And remember, you deserve it, right?
Wow. So, I don't know if you deserve it.
You're a poker fan, but you're also in poker now. So,
it's so
eventually,
much...
when you win you don't have to wait till when you win your bracelet to, you're a poker
I hope it happens.
Celebrity now. You know what I mean? But,
I just can't get over what's going on in my life right now.
Yeah, well, you deserve
it's crazy. It really is.
So,
But I'm having a blast with you, honest to God. Can you tell a little bit? You're helping me out because, I get asked a lot of questions. Now, I know some of the answers, but I'm not the one that's won $10 million. You've actually won, by the way, almost $7 million, buddy. That's pretty good stuff, right? And then November 5th, you took down $341,000. So,
Yeah.
you know, you've been consistent. You're making money. It ain't like you ought to go back and find you a daytime job.
No, yeah.
But, you know, all the information, I understand why you got students now. I understand.
It's just good to have a side gig too, just guaranteed money. And like I said, I enjoy coaching, but yeah, I've been pretty consistent. But like any poker pro, you know, there's always going to be tougher years. And I mean, I've done it almost 20 years. So, but I'm just happy. I was putting a lot of work in the last couple of years, and I just got that third place. So
Yeah.
that was a good one. Yeah.
It is
Close
a good one. It is a good one. I can't wait to get my 6-figure cash. It's just, I just know it's got to be. I should already happen, and I try not to let it bring me down because I know I got game.
Yeah.
But I always get the worst luck in a big pot, in a big situation.
Right. No, you
And-
don't. Well, maybe it's
yes,
happened.
it's
But you know what I
happened,
mean? It's
but
the same
it's
thing
gonna
with
happen.
like the concepts of running good and running bad are still like self-created illusions
Yeah.
in a way, right? So
Yeah,
it's not
it
like
is.
just because you have some memories of hands you've lost, it doesn't mean that is your future, right? And some of those pots, maybe you could play better earlier in the tournament, or maybe even that pot, you know,
There you go.
one decision could have gone in this way or that. Not always. Sometimes you're just going to lose because it was the worst run out and it's a cooler. Other times I look back at hands and it was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have been in the hand, or maybe I should have bet this size on the flop. So, you know, you got to remember, don't create any like complexes about like I run bad or no, you're just a good player. Like you're getting better, you know, and it's just don't put it on a pedestal. It's not that hard to get a 6-figure score if you just play enough reps. And, you know, it's not easy either, but if you play some 10Ks and, you know, yeah, it's very possible.
Well, 10Ks is,
You're
that would
playing at least one.
bid me
so-
out on my bankroll. Remember,
Yeah.
I'm never
Start with
going to
one.
be. I'm never going to be down to where I have nothing.
Yeah,
But you know,
that's good piece
since
of mind, though.
I
Yeah.
want to tell you this, though, I've said this before on my broadcasts, is that since I've been able to say, okay, that tournament's over. So what? I'm out. This happened to me. Hello. There's always another day. I am going to be right back in it, and I'm going to not think about that no more. And ever since I started this last year, that's when I started getting deep runs every time. And every time I went and played cash game, I was winning. And I thought, you know what? This is a whole different kind of mentality that I have to have if I'm going to be successful. Am
Yeah.
I right?
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. Kind of the same thing with me the last year. I mean, sometimes your mental game for some reason is stronger than other times, and that led to my bigger score that few months ago. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, sometimes when you're locked in and you're just, you know, things are just clicking, and you know, it's an energy thing. So
Here's the thing. One of my favorite all-time golfers is Jack Nicklaus. Okay, and I remember watching the '86 Masters when he won it, and they thought he was through, he's too old, and all that. And I watched him play. So that, believe it or not, I don't think I'm too fucking old. Okay, I don't. All right, but I keep thinking, if he can do it, when they say he's done, and even though I'm 60. I can't see me not being able to still do it as long as I feel the confidence and the want to. Wanting it bad does make you get the confidence to want it. And out there, like I've said this before too, if you really want something and you're not going to be denied, then don't let no one tell you you can't do it, and go out and do it.
hell yeah. Yeah,
Thank
look where
you.
you are. You're here right
Yes,
now.
I know.
know what I mean?
I can't believe this. I'm talking to Jeff Madsen
It's
here,
just a product of your
and
will,
I'm having
you know?
a blast.
It's just
I'm
a product
telling
of
you,
your
this is
will.
great.
Like the same thing with me when I was just a young kid, and I was like, I could be a poker pro, you know, and I just had to put a little work in and manifest that. So anything's possible. It's true.
Oh man, dude, I tell you what, I'm gonna win me. I'm gonna at least
Get fired up.
get at least 3 chances. I'm gonna play at least 3 tournaments.
Let's go.
I'm gonna try for the World Series. I'm definitely gonna play the 1500 high low and the 10,000. I know I'm gonna do that.
yes,
Now the
yeah.
other one I'm thinking about, if once again I don't know, but they got a new $1,000 bounty starting right off the World Series of Poker.
Like what?
I think it's one of the first. Yeah,
1K bounty.
yeah,
Those are always
and
fun.
it's
the
guaranteed $1
bounties.
million. I think.
Yeah, I like those because they're over so fast. You know, you're down to like 100 people in like, you know, 2 hours.
And here's another thing, because it's a bounty, a lot of people like it. They don't have to win the tournament. If once you get to where they're cashing at a certain amount, where
You like the mystery bounties?
You draw,
or-
that's what I'm saying. The
Yeah.
mystery. That's the one I was trying to
I think it's
get
good
it
for
out.
poker. I like them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
You don't have to be the best. If you could grind your way and stay steady to where all of a sudden, okay, now we're in the money. Now here's your bounty.
a little bit of a lottery
Yeah.
feel. Like it's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it puts money back in the community, and yeah, you can just win one flip and hit the biggest bounty, and Yeah,
I played. I want to tell you. Okay, I'm going to tell you what happened to me. I think it was 2 years ago. WPT was in town at the Wynn. They had a 1,600 bounty tournament. I got in the damn thing, and this young guy. Once again, these young guys are so aggressive. They really are. But he was aggressive, raising every hand, and he would overpraise these guys, and they would fold. And I'm thinking, boy, if I get in the hand with this guy, oh boy, he's going to give me all of his chips.
trap his
Seriously,
ass. Yeah.
that's what I was thinking, because everyone else was folding to him. So I get in this hand, and I got ace nine of spades, and it's a hold'em tournament. And
Spade.
yeah, well, the flop came two spades.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was 8-6 of spades on the flop, I believe. Yes. 8-6 of spades. No, 8-4 spades with some other color, but card. And I'm thinking, okay, I got the nut flush draw. I know I'm not going
a good
to.
spot,
He's going to try to bluff me out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, now here come the turn card, and the turn card wasn't a spade, but it was the queen.
Okay.
Once again, we're betting the whole way, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to represent this
He's
queen.
betting again, or you're
I'm betting and
you're
he's
betting
calling
now.
me.
Okay, yeah.
He's calling me.
You're repping the queen.
Okay. And I'm going to rep the queen because the board really wasn't scary at all.
Yeah.
Okay, except for the flush draw, which I knew had the nuts. So I fired. He thought about it, and he called me, and I was like, okay. Does he have that queen? Now here comes the river. So remember, there's the eight and four spades.
8-4 queen. Okay.
The river comes 6 of spades.
Oh, okay. So you have the nuts.
Don't I? I bet he raises, I re-raise.
Yeah. Oh
He
my God.
moves all in, and I'm like,
What the hell?
what the fuck?
Straight flush out there.
He's got the 5-7 of spades, Jeff.
He had the straight flush.
Yeah, and I had the ace nine.
No.
Knocked me out. I'm not lying. That's what I mean.
That's crazy.
You tell me about it, buddy.
I
I'm
know.
not lying about that hand.
I'd like to say, by
I
the
got
third
up.
raise on the river, you got to start worrying
I got
about
up.
it. But
I got up when I got knocked out of that, and I could have rebought back in, but I thought, if I'm going to lose on a one-outer, I mean, basically,
That's smart.
Now
Yeah.
think about what I'm saying here. If that spade doesn't come on the river with me betting the whole damn way, I win that hand.
Yeah.
He can't keep calling
There's
me
no other card.
because
Offsuit 6
I'm
is
the only
it.
I'm the only son of a bitch at the table that's giving him resistance. Everyone else is folding, but I'm firing at
I'd
him.
be terrified that you had it.
I'm firing at that
I would just
motherfucker.
Be like, oh, you have pocket aces or something.
So
Yeah.
and
No, that's tough when
he gets the
all of a sudden the
goddamn
aggressive player gets the you give the aggressive
6 of
player the nuts.
spades.
That's why it's good to be aggressive because you get more value out of your good hands. Not that hand could have gone any different, but when you're aggressive, it's hard to play against you. You know, you get more value out of your good hands. You get
Right.
you get folds that you wouldn't normally get sometimes. So you always want to lean aggressive, even though there's lots of days that I employ like limping strategies or weird stuff. But usually you just want to be aggressive, even if you're a new player, and then kind of learn what works.
Well, after that happened, I mean, I stood there for a while, stood up, and I'm like, really? Are you goddamn kidding me? And to myself, I'm thinking,
Doesn't feel real when that happens.
no, it ain't right. And I told the whole table, I said, well, you got a chance to win. One of the best players in the room is out. I'll tell you that right now. That's what I told him. I wasn't
I like
joking.
it.
Because
Yeah.
I played well in my spots before I got knocked out. I was doing good. He was ripping everybody off. I could tell he was bluffing so many times. It was crazy. You know how they are, right? You run into them guys that are aggressive every hand.
Yeah.
You know when they're stealing something, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah. No, the people don't adjust enough in those situations. Like, you do have to play back at the aggressive players sometimes. And other times you do just want to wait and trap them. So that's the big thing. So, like, weak players will just play their hands and they won't adjust at all. And then that kind of table captain type player will just come in and raise every hand. And especially near the money, near the money bubble, you'll see that kind of player go crazy. There, you might have to, get out of his way. But when there's no ICM, you do want to battle a little more.
Well, when that damn 6 came on the reverse spades, I'm thinking, God, I got it. Now when he repopped me, of course, we're going back and forth here. I putting him on a king flush, right?
Yeah, like king high flush.
And then I look and like, God damn, does he really got the 5-7? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Am I that unlucky? Oh God, I can't lay this one down. He's bluffed everyone else. I can't let him bluff me.
Yeah, I probably
He's bluffed everybody else. How can I fold? Because that's what
I was
going to
say when I fold, maybe like in the main event, and it's like a really tight player or something, but
right.
But like,
but this guy was loose as a goose.
Yeah, he was loose as a goose, and he snap call that shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm telling you. But I still love the game.
That's
and
why
I'm
I
not
love the
gonna
game, because stuff like that happens. Sometimes it happens in your advantage. Sometimes it happens against you. But every day you see kind of like crazy stuff happen. If you play enough hands, you see cool, interesting
I deal them too.
stuff
I
happen.
see it.
So I like that aspect. It's kind of random. You know what's generally what your strategy is, but you never really know exactly how the day is going to go.
That's the one thing I hate about being a dealer is I really hate to cooler anyone.
You don't like
I really,
people?
I don't want no one to hate Clyde.
Right.
But damn it, there ain't nothing I can do about it,
Someone's
guys.
lose. Someone's gonna win. This is how it is.
Out of a table of 8 or 9 people, maybe 2's going to win. The other, not everyone could win this game.
Do people get mad at you sometimes and like?
No,
do they
that's
abuse
amazing.
Dealers? They're nice to you. They don't throw stuff at you.
Especially in the Poker Go studio, not one person gets rude
of
all
course.
over there.
Well, because Poker Go is like good players, right? The good players are usually less irrational, right? Because getting mad at the dealer is completely irrational and makes no sense. I guess you could argue, the dealer controls the cards because the spiritual thing with their hands. But anyone who does that, like you see Men the Master, like cursing out the dealer, you can see someone. You can see someone's character in how they.
I used to get mad, but I never cursed at the dealer when I first started playing.
No, we never cursed. No.
I don't remember.
Maybe the poker gods, but not the dealer.
But Jeff, all this time I've been dealing, only one time someone got rude to me. Because when I go to the table, I try to bring a positive energy, let's have fun deal. Okay? Now, when I go to a table and I see this guy and it looks like he's been getting killed, I back off some. Because he could explode at any time. And I can read people because I play too. I know, this guy's been getting beat up. He's not talking. He's not saying a word. He's
ready to explode or something.
Yeah. Yep.
You could predict when people are gonna tilt sometimes, for sure. You can see the steam coming out of their ears, and then so
it's crazy.
That's a big part of poker is timing and just knowing when to trap someone like that, or just to when they're about to spew to you, you can kind of feel it. Yeah,
it's amazing that. I love dealing. I love everything about poker. But it's amazing when I'm sitting there and I'm dealing to these people, and I'm also learning on my own, trying to predict what they have and why they're doing what they do, especially in the Poker Go studio.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can learn a lot watching those boys. I'll tell you that.
That's going to make you much better, yeah. Just watching every hand, looking at trying to get the reads.
And trying to understand, okay, what's not just the range, but why are they betting this amount? Okay, if they bet this amount, then you got to have a certain hand to call that amount. That's my thinking, right? And I'm sure that's their thinking.
Yeah, yeah. You can try to break down what are they doing with their strategies and why, and like what the really good players. What is that X factor? Because there's a lot of good players, but the very best players, you can watch them in the Poker Go studio and just kind of what is it about what he's doing? It just makes him a little bit better. Sometimes it's hard to really even describe what it is.
I watched, was it a couple days ago? David Peters. I was watching the hand being played, the guy he was in the hand with. And the river come, it was like check on the turn. And I'm like, what do they got here? It's kind of hidden. Okay? it looked like he bet for like it to be a bluff, but he had a hand.
Right.
And the person thought forever and finally called the bet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to predict what he had. And I was so far off that time. But he had pocket nines. You would have never guessed it the way he played the hand.
He had a good hand, you're saying.
Yeah, he had a very good hand, but he kept it hidden, and he got paid off on the river on it.
Yeah. Good players know to do sort of the reverse tells, too. Like, maybe that hand, he was trying to look bluffy or whatever, and he got him paid. But then when good players are against other good players, it's like, how many levels deep do you go with that? Like, is he trying to look bluffy? Now, is he trying to look bluffy to,
That's
which
why
level?
I think he got paid off.
That's why Poker Go, those tournaments are great because everyone's played with each other so much. So the metagame is super. It's a lot of high-level metagame, right? Meaning like the backstory of all the players have played against each other, right? They've already got hundreds of hands in the bank against a lot of, their opponents. So it creates interesting hands because, there's so much history, basically. Everyone knows each other, so.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
It's been a wonderful time talking to you. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm glad you came on my podcast. Okay. I've had a wonderful time with you, Jeff, and I've learned a lot. When I usually end these podcasts, I usually give somebody something.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
And here it is.
Oh my God.
Here. I know. I probably scared the hell out. Here's your snack.
It's my snack. Yes. Oh wow. This is to the Crown Casino in Australia.
That's a little snack here for you. That'll cheer you up a little bit there.
All right.
Yes, sir. You can buy a burger or something with it. Yeah.
Should I just throw it in the air?
Hey, again, thanks for coming. Hey, everyone, thanks for watching out there.
Are these edible, you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know. They might be. But we want to thank you for watching today. And where's more coming to you, folks? There's more coming. Special guests like this man here. I know you've had to learn something from this guy today. And thanks for watching. And may God bless you. Woo!